States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody. Can you hear us in the back?
Yeah.
All right. If you can't, let me know. Roll call, please.
Mark Bouchard?
Here.
Joanne Shirkey? Here. Cindy Valentine here. Artie Bryson?
Here.
Christy Hilden? Here. Chris O'Regan?
Here.
Sandy Kufel? Here.
Okay, we all made it in today. That's good. Next on the agenda is bills payable. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve bills payable for $149,715.28.
Support.
Okay, a motion and lots of support down here. Any discussion or anything? Any comments? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Joanne Shirkey?
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Christy Hilden?
Yes.
Chris O'Regan?
Yes.
Sandy Kufel?
Yes.
Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next we have public comments. Do we have any public comments? Want to give them the mic, Mark?
I can talk loud.
Well, okay.
I just have a question.
Are you picking that up, Mike?
Yep, it sounds
Okay.
good, yep.
On the news, I saw that 19 communities in Oakland County have banded together, and they're making quite a bit of progress against drug parties. And I just wondered if there was anything like that going on in St. Clair County, or if there's a possibility that we might get into something like that. It's six lakes is the
Right.
conservation.
I know it well.
Okay, and I'm a member of that.
Okay.
So I'm just throwing it out there.
Right, yeah. I mean, as far as, we do have a Phragmites board, but it was a lot more active than it has been as recently. And I myself, I stayed involved with SEMCOG, and we have it's called a SISMA, and it's a big long acronym, and we combine with other counties or communities in St. Clair County and Macomb County to apply for grants and things, just like was it 5 lakes, isn't it? Six lakes, yeah. Just same as they do. So, yeah, we definitely keep our thumb on the pulse
Are
there.
we making any progress?
Well, the SISMA really hasn't yet, the last 2 years, but, you know, we're hopeful. Okay. Any other public comments?
So I just have a question with regards to the status of the Crispin Drain grant, I believe. Was it a grant that
Yeah.
we were waiting on? And my question with regards to that is, I know part of that is to provide access to the Crispin Drain for kayaking. And then was there some conversation with regards to walking trails and such in there? These walking trails, are they going to be like a blacktop trail?
Probably not.
Is that any sort of trail, blacktop walking path, even an option any place on this island?
Sure, it's an option. But
Well, I guess my question is all this money that's being spent into developing Crispin Drain and these trails, you know, one of the things that it does state on the on your website actually is the township's role is to provide facilities residents do not customarily have access to, and this is in the Parks and Recs area of your website. Obviously, Harsens Island, we don't have access to walking trails that are outside of walking on a street.
There's no trails on the island, but I wouldn't say you don't have access.
Yeah, well, okay, you're right. So we have access if we want to go across
Right.
to the park. But as a community within itself on the island, we don't have that access. And so going back to the Crispin Drain development and improvement, is there a possibility of visiting a true walking path?
Actually, I'm going to touch on that on my supervisor's report. I could probably answer that question then.
Okay, and then will you include with that if that is even ever an option to do at Brownsfield? And I understand Brownsfield is privately owned, and I think in the past that has been the reason why the township can't do
Right.
funding for us over at the field. So being that this is, this development is happening, I'd be interested to hear what
Okay,
could potentially be done in that respect.
sounds good. Any other public comments?
Now that you mentioned that, the Christmas dream, at a meeting way back in the spring, we talked about buying that piece of property on LaCroix
Yep,
for access. Has anything been done about that?
I'm going to update it in my supervisor's report.
You were saying that you were talking about having a walking path at, actually, isn't that in Collarbone, right by the schoolhouse grill?
Yes. Yep.
There was a talk about having a walking path
Yep.
there. And you'll talk more about that.
Yep. Any other public comments?
I would just like to, I requested this before, I would just like to request if we could get the documents online when the board gets them. You know, I'm looking through them now, but it's like I gotta look through them during a meeting and gotta miss the meeting. And it's just, many other municipalities have it. I would like to put that request in again, just for transparency. The other thing is, can we put public comments back on the end like we used to have, like a year ago?
Well, the reason we moved it, because, I mean, you do public comments to let the board how you feel. And what's the purpose of doing that at the end of the meeting when we already made our decision?
Well, sometimes you bring up subjects that the decisions aren't made yet,
And you can always, get a hold of us after the meeting or the next meeting. But there's a lot of people that want to do public comments that necessarily don't want to wait to the end of the meeting also.
I agree. And you've been really good, because a lot of people have been speaking out of turn, but I kind of think if we could speak, if we had a set up time, I mean, less.
We do.
Yeah, you have.
Yep.
And so that's, if you
Okay.
don't object to that, then I'm okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Yeah,
Hang on one second.
I live on Grand Point, and finally got around to reading the magazine today that you commented in there about slowing the freighters down. Well, I wasn't here during the winter. My boathouse is like this now. It's the posts I've given about a foot on one side, so it's leaning. And the insurance company says the freighters are running. Now, I always was under the assumption they don't run in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah, they run.
They used to not, though, did they?
Well, it's limited. The locks are closed, but they run,
Well,
lower lakes.
they're saying that ice going up and down and hooked to those posts that your brother put in, by the way.
Should be warranty work.
I'm with you. You don't even want to look at it.
Any other public comments? John?
I just want to ask if any work has been done in regard to repairing the fire hall. Since the last time we talked, I asked the treasurer if he could give us an idea of how much money has been spent on the fire hall, and do we have a plan to go ahead and get something done?
Yeah, we do. I'll let the chief address that later. Well, yeah, you want, I mean, we're talking, we have a plan for the fixing the bathroom and the kitchen. I think we're going to put out for quote soon, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We do have everything that we're going to need to be done in the fire station. We need to put it out for quote, for a bid.
So by the next board meeting, you should have something that we can look at to see what it's going to cost and how we're going to get it done.
Well, we'll send it out to have it bidded on to see what it's going to cost. I'm not sure on how long the bids last, if it's a 2-week process or 3-week or 4 weeks.
Well, you're not going to have a board meeting on the island for another 4 weeks.
So we'll have it by then.
By that time, we should have something to look at.
Right.
To know what it's going to cost, what has to be done, and what perhaps we can do to help you, you know?
And also we're going through the process, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, of getting the we've received a grant to get the ventilation systems installed and updated, and we're working on that.
I just received the quote on that Friday. She sent it to me via UPS. I have not had a chance to really look at it, but to install the system, I believe on this side, it's going to be around $40,000.
That's what we budgeted for that.
Yep. So.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, John. Any other public comments?
I have a question. Wasn't that part of what you wanted the bond for?
It was. We weren't sure if it was funded when the time we put in for the bond. But yes, it was good news that we received that grant.
Oh, grant.
Any other public comments? You're easy on us today. Okay, thanks a lot. We'll move right along. Consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of the meeting minutes of September 4th in synopsis, the corrected minutes of August 20th, page 1, check reports, July water report, August assessing, building, zoning, code enforcement, and police reports, a notice from the Michigan Conservation Stewards Program, and communication of fire department resignation of Assistant Chief Carl Bailey.
Support. Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion or any questions on any of those?
What was our correctional minutes?
It said 8 instead of 68 for residents attending the meeting.
Thank you.
How long was Bailey with the department?
Hey, Chief, how long was Carl with the department?
Around 8 years.
Took a full-time job someplace else, and he's on probation, he's not allowed to work.
Yeah, I read it.
So, all right. Any more discussion on the consent agenda? All in favor of the consent agenda as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have our supervisor's report. And someone asked about our purchase of land for a kayak access site on Columbine. It's on the, it'll be the north side of the Schoolhouse Grill. We have 9 acres there. I actually received actually pretty good news from the DNR's, the Land Trust Fund grant. And they came back with a preliminary score, and from my contacts who have a lot of experience on putting these grants together, they said, you already got enough points to get the grant. But still, we're gonna polish it up and answer some questions, and we'll probably improve our score. I'm hoping another 50, 80 points. There are some, you know, they look at different classifications and things on the grant, and I mean, there's some that we're not going to get, like, you know, you score higher if you're in a downtown urban area. Yeah, that'd be hard to pull off. And they look at income levels too. But we do score pretty high on that. And just a recap of what this is, we're buying 9 acres, or we're hoping to buy 9 acres. And we get this grant. It's a 25% match to buy the grant, or with the grant. St. Clair County Parks and Rec ended up, and they're going to split that match with us. So this 9 acres will end up costing the township around $14,000. And what we propose to do with it is to develop it a little bit. We're going to be working with the local DNR. What we want to do is put it's going to be 3 phases, but we want to put in a parking lot for about a dozen cars or so. We want to get access to the drain, put a handicap kayak launch out there, which actually St. Clair Parks and Rec will pay for the handicap kayak launch. We already have that approved. And we're going to have this 9 acres, so we want to put some kind of walking trail around it. And the DNR and both the local and with the trust fund, they don't like hardtop walking paths on these types of trails where there's, I mean, they don't mind it like if it was on Browns Field, but you know, there's a lot of plants that, you know, they want to preserve and things. It'll be a soft walking path. There are places where it's wet underneath, and that will probably be a boardwalk on top. So you'll go to a soft walking path to a boardwalk, back to a soft walking path. And we're also in hopes of putting up observation tower. I'm not sure how high, 20 feet or so people can go up and look out over the marsh. I think that'd be kind of cool, and they definitely like that. And someone just told me you can buy a used fire tower watch in the forest down, you know, and they're really, really cheap. And we could maybe take that and convert that into something that we can use here. So does that answer your questions?
It does, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Let's see. Let's skip that. I did meet last week with U.S. Department of Agriculture in Port Huron. You were there, Chris. Met with the guys after. It was a very interesting meeting. They have, and you would think, why would that USDA have these programs? But they have about 40 different programs that municipalities and actually some banks can get on too. But I was interested in municipalities where they're offered interest-free or low-interest loans for improving things like infrastructure, buying fire trucks, and that sort of thing. And afterwards, I had a one-on-one with these people, and I got all the contacts. We're going to be working very closely with them going forward to see if they can help us out. And it's not just fire trucks; it's for water improvements. It's a whole gamut. And one really interesting part of it, we can pull a bond with them. And when you do a bond with a bank, they usually don't let you pay it off early. USDA will. So that's huge. You know, if you got extra a couple $100 grand at the end of the township, you know, at the end of the year, we can plunk it down and reduce our debt going forward. We're not locked in. And they have very attractive interest rates. I'm not sure if we'll be able to qualify for the interest-free, but we can get really good rates. And I'm going to be working with them closely here in another few weeks. Let's see. Elginak, actually, we're working with Elginak that's going to do a slow roll, a little bicycle tour. I don't know if anyone in Detroit, they do them quite a bit. I'm excited about this. It's going to be October 4th, starting at 6 p.m. Actually, you show up at 5:30. They take off at 6. And it's going to be about an 8-mile bike ride, going slow, around Elginak and Clay, and end up in the river park, and they're going to have some music and food afterwards. So it'd be nice. We're doing a lot more with Elginak in partnership, and we actually want to get this going about once a month. I want to give everyone an update on roads. Quite bluntly, all the road paving projects in the whole state are about a month behind. We had a really cold spring, if you remember, April, and all the asphalt plants basically opened up a month late. And we have three projects, bigger projects. We've got some smaller ones. But Marsh Road's going to get repaved from, where's it get bumpy at? High? No. Benoit. North.
They were there today.
Were they?
Yes.
Oh, they just showed up? Because they told me they're going to be there. They're going to do Marsh Road from Benoit all the way up to Chartier. And then as soon as they're done with that, they're going to hit Sword out from Morrow to Starville. That's the worst road in the township. And then after that, they're going to do our St. John's project, so they're going to go for 1-1-1. I'm glad they showed up today. And if anyone's interested, you might notice there's a bunch of new signposts along M154. And what that's about, MDOT, the state road commission, is actually just replacing all the signs. I'm not sure why, but they're replacing all the signs. And that's what they're doing. They're pulling out the old signposts. They got new signposts in, and it kind of piqued my curiosity a couple days ago. And that's the story there. Let's see, what else do we have? Just want to remind everybody, especially a lot of people are going to be leaving for the year. Our police department, our dispatch center is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not a lot of communities can say that, in fact, very few. And you can go there anytime to request a police report, get if you need to purchase a gun, to get a permit for that, or register a handgun, and we provide fingerprinting and a whole list of other things. If you have any prescription drugs, don't flush them down the toilet. It kind of screws up our waters. If you take them over to the dispatch, we take all the drugs and we make sure they're disposed of safely. And also, it's called, we do the Operation Safe Zone. There's a lot of people that buy and sell things on Craigslist and eBay and stuff, and there's been some crimes and stuff that, you know, you can set up where you're going to buy something or off of someone, or you're going to sell something. There's been in the past some crimes where it's actually a robbery. You know, they kind of set you up. You can do it in our police lobby or out in front. We have cameras. Everyone's, you know, and you're very safe there, and gives you extra buffer of security. I want to remember everybody, if you're leaving, I don't care if it's a week or 2 weeks or all summer or all winter long or whenever, we do property checks for free. If you're on a trip down south, once or twice a week, I mean, we do a drive-by every day and visually check your place out. Once or twice a week, we'll get out of the car and walk around your property, make sure the doors are locked and everything. And again, if you are leaving for that long, right, John, it's probably wise we turn off your water if you're connected to our water system. And
Is there a charge for that? I'm sorry, excuse me.
to turn the water off?
To turn it off and turn it back on?
Yeah, what is it, 30?
15.
15 each side,
Okay,
okay?
thanks.
But if you get a leak or something, I mean, we've seen it where water runs months and it gets ugly. Right. Let's see. I want to mention too, our traffic enforcement with our police here. We rather have compliance than tickets. And what's the ratio? 25% of the people we pull over, we write a ticket? Not even 20, maybe 20%. And we're more about educating. Now, if someone's putting somebody at risk, life's at risk, or if they're being a jerk to the cop, they're going to get a ticket. But most of the, you know, we want compliance versus tickets. And if anyone has any citizen complaints about anything, no matter how big or small, you know, we investigate it to our fullest. Anything else you want to add, Chief?
No, I should do it, but there is a stack of those up there for anybody who wants to take that along with you and give the contact information. Any of those services that you might need, you can contact 24/7.
Go ahead.
Arnie, on the water bill, and this guy and myself got a bill for like $108. It's never been that high now. Did they change the rate or something, or what's going on?
A little bit. It could be a couple things. If you want, call us offline. We can check into it. We had our last concert of the season, which is kind of sad, but we had it in Brownsfield in conjunction with the Harsens Association Pig Roast. Now, I had a lot of fun. I think a few other people did too. So that went well. And You know, we had 2 other concerts in the Browns Field this year, and I wanted to thank Dudak and Auto Owners Insurance for sponsoring our July concert. And then we had, I think, State Farm, the other one, Jennifer Sobier. Is that her name? I think so. Sponsored the other one. I want to thank those guys for that. We have a lot of stuff coming up in the future. We have safety tikes. Is that the 30th? September 30th over in the park. It's really geared around 4-year-old kids and toddlers. We have the Paw Patrol coming and all that good stuff. That's actually sponsored by Nickel and Saf Insurance out of Mount Clement. And then we have a bus trip to the Lions. Lions versus the Rams, and that bus trip is sponsored by Seaway RV Trailer Park. And we got a ton of stuff coming up in the future. I can't even list them all. We have, you know, in our Parks and Rec, we have the bus trip, we have games, we got arts and crafts, workshops, we got the Scarecrow Festival, North Channel Sturgeon Classics coming up at the end of this month. We have exercise and cooking classes coming soon. If you're on Facebook, get on Facebook, go to Clay Township Parks and Rec and like it, and that's where all the stuff's listed, so if you have any questions. All right, that concludes our supervisor's report. That was pretty painless, wasn't it? Kind of. A little bit of pain. Yeah.
About the taking drugs back, do they take liquids and creams also, or just pills?
No liquids or needles.
But the fire department will take it as we have a hazardous waste drop-off at the fire department. We can do that there, can't we, Chief?
Yes, we can. We'll take all needles and we can take any liquids.
Yeah. All right. I'm still up. Under unfinished business, update on the fire department, Downriver Firefighters Association. As I reported at our last meeting, there were some concerns on how the organization was set up, and we're actually requesting their books to do an audit on it. And I requested them to turn it over 2.5 weeks ago. They said they would, and then they didn't. The chief requested a couple once, and I requested a couple more times to turn over their basically their checkbook and their the statements, and they said they would, and they didn't. Last week I sent them a letter basically demanding, you know, we need this stuff. These are people in our township that donated money to it. We have to have some accountability and make sure everything was done right. And actually the very next day, the Firefighters Association had a meeting, and they voted to turn it over to us. So I thought, okay, no problem. Still hasn't been done. Our attorney sent them a letter stating, you know, they have to turn it over to us. And I'm not sure what the problem is yet, but legally, any citizen has the right, can go into any charity and say, I want to see your books. And the charity has to provide it. It doesn't, any citizen can. So I'm kind of, well, we're trying our hardest to get these books, and I'm going to just give them to our auditors and see what they come up with. Hopefully nothing, but I'm concerned now. I would expect that we would have had them by now, but we don't.
Ari, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is this through the Freedom of Information Act, or are you just publicly asking for them?
Well, what it is, I'll do a recap. We had Clay Township, well, back a while ago, we had a Harsens Island Firefighters Association. It was a 501c3. We also had a Clay Township Firemen's Association. It was a legit 501c3. You need that to solicit charitable contributions. And when the fire departments merged, the Harsens Island Firefighters Association was pretty much disbanded. And we're not sure exactly when, but for some reason, all the paperwork under the Clay Township Firemen's Association, Firefighters Association, stopped being filed and processed around 2009, 10, I'm not sure exactly when. And that organization ceased to exist because nothing was filed to renew it in 2011. There was a downriver Firefighters Association that popped up. And I know we have a checkbook. They have a checkbook. Now this is separate from the township. And and those are the ones who are doing the pancake breakfast and everything else. As far as we can see, well, we know it's not a 501c3. And we can't even find out where they have a name, LLC or assumed name filed anywhere. And originally I went to the bank where their checking is, because I know if you get a bank account where there's a business or anything, they require your articles of incorporation and bylaws. And I was hoping to get a copy of those there, and the bank manager said, no, Artie, actually this isn't anything more than a poker club or a euchre club. So that was very concerning. So we're trying to get to the bottom and see what's going on. That's what we're trying to do. And we already started the motions of making them official 501c3 going forward to correct the problem. And we're also going to do one for the police so they can have a police association too if they want. So that's it in a nutshell. And other than that, I'm in the dark as much as you. But we're hoping to find out what's going on, and once we do.
This funding that they collect, what do they typically do with it?
Well, we're not sure. Typically, a firefighters association is there to promote and help out the firefighters. And then also, there's legally what the township, any township can spend money is kind of restricted. And the Firefighters Association has more leeway. Like if there was somebody displaced from a fire, you know, the Firefighters Association could put them up in a hotel for a while or help them out in other ways. Township can't do that. You know, we can't write a check here as a hotel room, you know. It's against the law for the township to do it. But Firefighters Association can do that. And that's what, therefore, for doing things like that and for promoting things with the fire department. So, okay? All right. That's all I have to report on that. Does the board have any questions?
Is there a date on that letter from the attorney?
Yeah, there is, and quite honestly, I didn't see it.
If they don't turn it over by that date, then what's the
Yeah.
next step?
Our attorney can go to court and get an action against them, and then it would be subpoenaed from them and the bank records. Hopefully it won't come to that. I didn't anticipate this much of a problem, and it is what it is.
So basically with that petition, it would be a show cause petition, Artie?
Yeah. We let the attorneys handle that. That's why we came. Okay, new business. We have our letter to Gary Peters. And what this is for the board. There's a bill in the Senate to, actually they want to do away with the requirement of foreign freighters to hire pilots, U.S. pilots, to navigate our Great Lakes. And this is actually the Pilots Association, the head of the Freighter Pilots Association contacted me. And of course they're against it, and they want it my support, and I'm asking the board for the support so I can send Gary Peters a letter. Basically what they're saying, all the foreign freighters, they don't have to have a U.S. pilot on board anymore. And, you know, we're going to lose jobs for these pilots. I mean, that's one thing. But more importantly for us here, this is how we communicate. Remember 2 years ago we had the big high water meeting, and all the guys from the freighters were here, including this association. And that's how we got them to slow down more. It was through how are we going to communicate to all these boats from China and Russia and Sweden and wherever to slow down in a river here? It's going to be pretty tough. But we did it through the Pilots Association. And for the most part, it worked, knock on wood. Every once in a while, we get a few rogue boats going through. But so I was hoping for the board's support on this letter so I can sign it and send it to Gary Peters. So any comments? In fact, I'll make that a motion that authorize me to sign this letter and shoot it off to Senator Gary Peters.
Support.
Support? Any discussion?
There's a couple of highlights in the letter that you drafted. Is this letter available on our website yet?
Not yet.
So I'll just hit a couple of the high points. It's to Senator Peters, and after you get through the initial reading, American pilots provide an important layer of protection for our fresh waters, perhaps the single most valuable resource to our region. The second paragraph, it talks about a reduction in complaints. As you review pilotage issues, we urge you to consider pilotage in the overall context of the environmental protection and marine safety that these pilots provide. When they do their jobs well, their services are invisible to the public. But the benefits they provide within our state are incalculable. Pilots are a full participants with the U.S. Coast Guard in this mission of protecting our Great Lakes. The party has drafted a letter to help support the pilotage program, and I support your motion.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments for the board?
Are you every part of the state or the Seaway too, and you were not?
Yes.
And what, we have to go according to that, right?
Well, this is a law they're considering in Washington to not require it in U.S. waters. The Canadians still require it.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyhow, any other questions on this motion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have Motorola maintenance agreements for dispatch council at 587004, line item 207-932. Got anything, Chief, or anyone has any questions?
Just our yearly maintenance agreement with them. Basically, anything goes down, any kind of labor, parts, service, as a 24/7 support, which is needed for our dispatch being 24/7.
And without it, if something goes down, we gotta wait a long time.
And we'll be waiting, and things are not cheap as far as anything that might go wrong with the council. So it's one of those necessary evils that we have.
Make a motion to approve I'm the only one with a battery, by the way.
You gotta turn it on.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the police Motorola maintenance agreement dispatch counselor for $5,870.04, line item 207-932.
Support.
Okay, motion and support, the bookends. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have Water Department, sewer jetter repair. Want to take it away?
Well, our sewer jet threw a bearing, we tore up the pump, we tore up some bearings. They took it to Jack Mahoney. which is where we purchased the equipment, for a quote on repairs. In the process of getting a second quote, I found out that JB Equipment is the supplier to Dahoney for the pump. And I talked to the rep there, and he said it's not a big deal to do the install. So we'd like to save $6,000 and do the install in-house and buy the pump from JB Equipment.
So tell everyone what we use this pump for.
Sewer jet is a multi-purpose tool. We use it to clean sewer mains, but we also use it to install long water services under the roads.
And we clear them out too if they're plugged?
Sewers, yes.
Yep. Okay. And what John said, and this isn't a budget item, we're gonna have to tweak the budget our next meeting to address this. I wasn't sure which way we were gonna go at the time, because we were looking at 15,000. But John did a lot of homework and found out a way to actually save us $6,000. And yeah. Any questions for John?
How often does that fail? First time in 20 years.
Yeah, it's a 20-year pump, and if we want it, and
It's not a heavily used piece of equipment, but it's an important piece.
And John was telling me too, if we went out and bought one, they don't really make them to fit trailers anymore. We'd have to put it in the back of
all truck mounted now.
a truck. They're all truck mounted now, and we'd have to buy a truck for the darn thing too.
Right.
So we want to keep this going with the trailer mount.
And there is the potential that this could be reimbursed through our SAW grant.
Yes.
If we acquire it.
Right.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion that we support the sewer jet repair in the amount of $9,600 for the water department in line item 590-932, 591-932.
Support. Yeah, motion and support. Any more discussion? Hearing none. No, it's under 10. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to.
Mr. Nye,
Not yet. Hang on. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next, fire department. We have some new hires. Chief, you want to get up and tell us about it?
Good evening. I'm asking the board's permission to hire the following individuals: Eric Toes, Daniel Rapp, Brandon Heath, Joseph McAuliffe, and John Papich. Eric Toes, he's a...
Oh, did you?
It is on.
Turn the mute.
We need a class on this.
Is it on?
There we go.
Eric Toos, he's a firefighter at Garden City Fire Department, soon to be retiring. He's a paramedic. He has firefighter 2, and he's located, or he lives in Ira Township, so he's close to Clay Township. Daniel Rapp, he is firefighter 2. He's also an EMT. He lives in Ray Township area. Brandon Heath, he's firefighter 2. He's also a licensed paramedic, works for Detroit EMS. He's located in Macomb Township. Joseph McAuliffe.
Hang on. You didn't hire him yet.
You should see who you're hiring.
Joseph McAuliffe, he's lives on Stone Road in our township, and he is firefighter 2, and he's also going to be attending MFR here in the next couple weeks. And then John Papich, he has Fire 2. He used to be on the department many years ago. He's going to help us out in our training department.
Okay, awesome. Bring them up.
Are they all here?
Yep. Well, not all of them. I got 3 out of the 5. The other 2 are working. This is Brandon. This is Daniel, and this is Joseph.
Does anyone on the board have any questions, or? Or Jody back?
No, I'm good. I use the water. Welcome to Clay County.
Well, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve Chief Rose's new hires Mr. Toes, Mr. Rapp, Mr. Heath, Mr. McCullough, and Mr. Papiz? Papich?
Support.
Yeah, motion support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Congratulations. Thank you. Chief, you're going to have, how many more are our next meeting probably?
I'll have 4 more next.
4 more new hires next meeting.
What is a fireman, what does a fireman 2 mean?
You gotta have firefighter 1 and 2, it's classes.
Okay,
And it's just the second class of that.
so and are there only 2 classes that they have to go
Then you
through?
can go, what, chief, firefighter officers and,
Well, it's firefighter 1, firefighter 2, and then after that, you can get your officer classes, which are 1, 2, and 3. And then you can go into paramedic if you want, or you can be an EMT or MFR.
And is the training already, is it available for them to start training pretty quickly?
these guys are already trained.
These guys are already trained.
Yes, ma'am. We can just plop them into place.
Right.
Well, we're gonna have to train them on our systems and our locate where everything is and everything. It's gonna take a little bit to get online.
Take a little bit. What does take a little bit?
Well, they gotta know the area, know our trucks.
I understand, but realistically, how long before these gentlemen are protecting us?
They could be protecting you within a couple of months.
Okay, so months we're talking.
Yep.
Okay.
How much time are they going to spend on the island?
As much as we can.
And I notice on his back here, it says emergency services. Does that mean a medical thing?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, sir. I'm both firefighter 1, 2, as well as hazmat operations and EMT basic trained.
excellent.
Yep. Okay, moving over, we have to approve our match grant that we just received. Go ahead, Chief.
Okay, our match for the air packs is $235,613.33. So we have to match 10% of that.
What was that, 23?
$23,561.33.
Okay.
235,000?
Right, the total for the new air packs is $235,613.33.
And tell everybody what these air packs are for.
To replace the air packs we presently have in both stations. It'll bring it up to NFPA standards. They're the latest air packs that Scott has produced. They're to replace the ones that are going, they've met their life. Their service.
Next year, they'll send a light.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And I also want to, Clay Township, we wrote the grant, but we also included Algonac and Marine City Fire Departments in on this. And they pretty much piggybacked on us, and I think we had 32?
We had 34 air packs.
34. Where did Algonac get? 50?
Algonac had 18, and Marine City had 25.
Then 25. So those 2 fire departments were able to take advantage of this grant along with us.
Can you explain exactly what an air pack is?
It's a device that you put on your that you wear inside a fire.
Tank?
Yeah, it's a tank. Yes.
Okay.
What does it weigh?
Excuse me.
What does it weigh?
It's about 35, 40 pounds.
Wow.
Do each of the other fire departments, Algonac and Marine City, have to also contribute 10%?
Yes. Yes.
And where are we finding that money in the fire department budget?
We're going to find it. We're going to find it. It behooves us, that's next meeting.
Okay.
It behooves us to find it, and we will.
Okay.
I just want to clarify too, one point, where a lot of these, all the fire departments in the county, they're pretty aggressive in these FEMA grants. Only one fire department in the county received a FEMA grant. We received 2. Nobody else in the county received any. Kudos. All right, do we have a motion?
So, Chief, I apologize, but the grant match amount is $23,000.
$561.
$61.33.
So I'll make a motion to approve the fire department grant match for $23,561.33, to be determined from which company.
Support. Yeah, motion and support. Roll call, please. What, any more discussion?
To support the SCBA.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
We can designate that.
Can you designate that on the motion?
Designated for the SCBA accounts?
Yep.
Artie, is that 23,000 or 235,000?
It's 23,000 to receive 230. Okay.
10%.
10%.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any more discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Christy Hilton?
Yes.
Chris O'Regan?
Yes.
Sandy Kufeld?
Yes.
Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey?
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next, we have fire prevention materials for $2,085. This is for educating. Oh, did I? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, hello. Bad me. Fire department, TIC mask 4. Want to take that away, Chief?
Requesting permission to buy 4 TIC masks, which are thermal imaging cameras. It's a mask that we would use along with our new air packs. Would provide us vision to look through the smoke to find a downed victim in a heavily smoked atmosphere. And I'm looking to buy 4 of them, 2 for the island station and then 2 for the mainland station.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
That we approve the TIC mask proposal in the amount of $5,475.48 deriving from line item 206-765.
Support?
Okay, we have motion and support. Any questions? Do you guys know how to use those?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
Makes our job easier.
That's right. Okay, any discussion? Board? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carries. Now we're to fire prevention materials for $2,085. And this is for materials for education on Fire Prevention Week.
I'll make a motion to approve the fire department prevention materials in the amount of $2,085 from line 206-986.
Support.
There's not a 986 on the budget that I have.
956.
Is it supposed to be 956? It
Yes.
says 986 on
Oh.
that.
956.
My typo, I apologize. 957.
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have a resolution for stored out drain maintenance, proposed maintenance from the St. Clair County Drain Commission. Anyone want to make a motion or start it out?
I will make a motion to approve resolution 2018-42 for stored out drain.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support.
You need to maybe say a little bit about it.
Yeah, who wants to?
You do good at that.
I do good at that. What it is the Drain Commission, they want to clean out sections of stored out drain. And they're going to start by Oh, in there by Holland Road and Phelps, it goes around the corner and it runs into, actually St. John's Marsh that way. And then it goes up parallel Starville Drive. And if it costs more than if their project costs more than $5,000 per mile, they have to actually run it by us, but I think how the state laws work with the Drain Commission. Drain Commission has a lot of power in their drain district. And even if we don't vote it, they're going to do it anyhow. That's all, I don't know. But the estimates for this clean out is $27,000, which is about $12,000 per mile. So it comes up before us, and for us to do this, I know that there's some areas in that drain, especially between Phelps and Holland, where it is choked, and going up north, it's in rough shape. So, and then as any drain assessment, they'll assess anyone in the drain district that has a benefit, and plus they assess us for drains at large. So that's what this resolution is.
So the county has identified the need to clean it out.
Yes.
Right, to help water flow back out to our rivers, back out to our lakes. And in part of the process, they're telling us that we're going to have to charge you, Clay Township. We're also going to charge your residents. We're not sure the amount we're going to charge you yet. That depends on how much work we have to do. But you either approve our resolution, or we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. So we're stuck in this position where we either play nice with the Drain Commissioner and give them our support, or we tell them no, and we risk future ramifications. So that's where we're at as a board tonight.
You said that their estimate is a little over $12,000 a mile.
Right.
What is our potential?
On Harsens Island won't be any. Who gets assessed is, there's a drain district for every drain. Like, there's a drain district for the Crispin drain. And if we didn't get that grant 2 years ago, the county would have came in here, cleaned the drain, and charged every one of us who was in that drain district X amount of dollars. But since we got that grant, it cost us $0. That was good. So actually, what are we paying on, Dana still?
This is last year's batch.
Yeah, I mean, we've been paying for the Dana drain that was cleaned out 3 years ago, the Swore Out, and Marine City drain was just recently cleaned out. And they have a drain district, and they'll analyze the benefit. And sometimes if you're right on it, you benefit 100%. But if you're way up off to the side of it, you may benefit like 30%. So it's really convoluted how they figured it out, but they have a process. And unfortunately, the drain, like I say, the drain commissioner is pretty powerful in the district. And we don't really have a whole lot of say-so. But that's their analogy.
Is there a formula or something?
Yeah, they have a formula, and they scope it out on where your groundwater goes.
Would we be responsible for like 20%?
No, not here. No, this is, Swore Out Drain is like behind the high school.
And how many miles is it?
2 miles.
And it goes all the way to Swore Out or Swore Out and Shag?
Yeah, it kind of goes past, I'm not sure how far it goes. It goes to the township. It may go further than that, but that doesn't concern us.
It says it's 2.8 miles long.
Yeah, 2.8 miles.
But we did ask some questions
Yes,
this
go
week.
ahead.
We asked how many parcels it affected, and they came back with an answer of the cost will be assessed to 297 parcels, approximately 1,454 acres. And I believe they said the first portion that they're working on is from Pearl Beach to Holland. So that is what these costs are for.
And that's all inclusive, not just on Harsens.
Right.
So it includes Cotterville.
Yeah, there's parts of Cotterville and going up north, so. Okay, any other questions or anything? Do we have a motion yet? What? Yeah, it's Bob Wiley. Yep. Bob Wiley's our drain commissioner.
Alrighty. When you started off, you said it would be $5,000 a mile, and then
No.
you said $12,000.
If it's over $5,000 a mile, they ask us to pass a resolution.
And it's going to be $12,000.
It's going to be a total cost of $27,000, but if you split it up by the miles, 2.8 miles, it comes up to be $12,000 a mile. Okay, we have motion and support. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Kristi Hilton,
Yes.
Crystal Regan,
Yes.
Sandy Kufel,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey,
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Artie Bryson?
Yes. Motion passed. Okay, next we have a resolution of conveyance of bottom lands. We're the only people in the state that gets these. There's certain pieces of property that someone has, but the state owns it right after the seawall, am I right? And if they want to build a dock or put a seawall in there, they have to do what's called a bottom conveyance or bottomlands conveyance. And so the state basically says, yeah, we're going to convey this bottomlands to you and you can build your dock. Part of the process of getting this is we have to pass a resolution. We probably see, what, 3 or 4 of these a year? Yeah. Sherry handles them in our assessing, so that's basically what this is. I'll entertain a motion. Anyone want a motion?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2018-43 for conveyance of bottomlands.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion on this?
This is over by Decker's Landing.
Yep, it's over by Decker's Landing.
For the boat slips.
So you say a boat slip?
Yeah, it's for their boat slips. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I have one question, Sharon. What would be our action or resolution if we decided not to support it?
Well, basically, it's really just part of the application to the DEQ, and there you have the final say-so, regardless if we do that. The person couldn't even submit the application without the resolution. So we're not approving anything about actually conveying the bottomlands. It's just what they require for the applicant to submit along with, so that so that we're acknowledging the person is submitting this application. But the DEQ obviously has the final say-so.
Thank you.
Marinas have to do that. I
Yep.
own one, we all have to do it.
Okay. Any more discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Crystal Regan,
Yes.
Sandy Kufel,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey,
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Kristi Hilton?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, I have a discussion on homeowners insurance, and I know there's been a lot of discussion on what makes up our someone's homeowners insurance. And actually, we have Dave Dudak. He's a resident on the island, and you have a couple people. Is there anybody? Who else is going to come? I don't think they're here. It was AAA.
AAA, they couldn't make it.
They couldn't make it. So you want to go ahead up and. And welcome. How long have you been on the island, Dave?
I moved full-time December 22nd.
Oh,
Just to
welcome.
make my wife happy.
Yeah, and thank you for sponsoring some of our events.
You're welcome. Yeah, as I said, I live permanently on the island with my 4 kids and my wife.
The mic's not working.
Yeah, it is.
And, is that better?
You gotta hold it up.
All right, and I just also want to say that Alicia, who works in our office, also lives in Clay. You know, we were contacted to talk about the protection class and how that affects the rates, and you all would know that, how that's determined better than us. But when we rate a homeowner's policy, the base rate is
a book rate that it consists of basically territory, and then a company would assign a rate. And then we, along with the homeowner, would come up with a dwelling amount of coverage that it would take to rebuild the home. And then we go from there. And we discount it down, and we to wherever it may be, and that is done with deductible, protection class, the age of the dwelling, the age of the roof, whether you have multi-policy, auto, home, umbrella, life, whatever. There's mortgage-free discounts, there's claim-free discounts, and it goes on. And we've introduced credit scoring, which most of us don't care for, but it is a determining factor. And I was asked to come and answer any questions you may have on the rates and how they determine it.
So you look at not only ISO ratings of the community, how far are you from a hydrant?
Absolutely. So we did some sample rates in the office today. On the island, we picked, I mean, we do a lot of business on the island. We insure a lot of local businesses as well. But we did some sample rates. If you're within 1,000 feet of a fire hydrant on Harsens Island or in Clay Township, you would qualify for what was I brought my policy and it shows a protection class 6 for my house on South Channel. But I believe it's been upgraded to a 5.
From July 1st, it became a 5.
Which is a better rating for Clay Township. And that's a rating on the fire department's efficiency and how well they get the fire or get to you and all that. And then, so you would, so you'd have to be within 1,000 feet and within a certain number of miles of a fire department, within 5 miles of a fire department, to get that 5 or 6 protection class code, which is a discount on your policy.
Okay. And for the record, correct me if I'm wrong, John, all of our fire hydrants and wherever we have water in our system is 500 feet?
That's correct.
So every 500 feet in Clay, we have a fire hydrant where we have water.
And thus,
So, yep.
and then a couple other things I had was, you know, he mentioned the boathouse. Most companies nowadays will insure a boat hoist, seawall, docks, all that, including for movement of ice and so forth by the freighters and all that. So check with your agent. Something. And the other thing is, I moved from Chesterfield, where I was for 20-some years, and my auto rates went down, so it's obviously safer. Yes.
So you said that there's a distance from a fire station that plays into your, what is that distance?
It's 5 miles, within 5 miles.
And if you're beyond 5 miles, what's your rating?
It could change your protection class.
From a 5
to a 10.
To a 10.
Or a 9.
Or 9,
Yeah.
9 or 10.
Yeah.
The ones we pulled today came 10.
Okay.
10. We pulled some down South Channel towards Old Club.
Yeah, if there's no water, it'll be a
Yeah.
10. If there is water, it's a 9.
Exactly, but it doesn't necessarily mean your rate's going to double, but your rate will be higher. You won't be getting that discount.
Does our Island Fire Department or Fire Hall, does that count, or do we?
Yes, absolutely. I'm getting the discount, as most of you should be if you have city water and live within the distance to the hall.
To that hall, not the one in Clay Township?
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm not sure of really what you call it or the proper words for it, but if you owned your own submersible pump that hooked up to your own fire hose, like most of us live on a canal or the river and we have plenty of access to water, does a homeowner get a discount if they do own their own pump with that kind of a pressure and
We haven't
hose?
seen that discount.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's something, I'm on the advisory council board with a number of insurance companies in the state. And, I mean, those are things we take to the companies. I have meetings a couple times a year with the heads of the underwriting and the corporate
officers of the companies. I mean, it's something that could, I think a lot of times you'll have the ability to pump water where you can't get to a hydrant, right?
Yes, we were able to draft. We also have some dry hydrants down South Channel on some of the bridges down there.
I understand it's a decent sized pump and is able to provide quite a bit of pressure there to be able to pull water out. I know off of my seawall, we're easy 20 feet down, so there's plenty of water there, and even in the canal, it's fairly deep, you know. But I didn't know if if our insurance companies would offer us a discount if we had something like that.
Can't hurt to
You know what, there may be. I know some companies do have like a protective subdivision type discount as well.
Yeah, it just depends sometimes on the companies itself too.
So if you're in an area where you're not far away and there is a larger water source, that may be in consideration, but it's not every company. As you know, we represent several different companies.
Right.
So depending on the individuals, you know, it would, if that's available or not.
Julie and Alicia are both licensed agents with our office too, and we do represent companies like Auto Owners, Citizens,
Fremont,
Chubb, Hastings, Liberty, Travelers.
Does the board have any questions?
When can our rates go down?
We've been seeing decreases. I've been delivering a lot of decreases. It's been, the weather determines a lot of that.
So our ISO updated in July. When do you figure most insurance companies have that update? Like you said, you pulled it in, and right now it says it's a 6, but it should be a 5.
Well, my policy renewed in May, so at renewal it should reflect that. I brought a copy.
And that ISO is, the ratings are every 5 years, is that correct?
Yep, every 5 years it's updated. And that's a lengthy process. Any other questions of the board? Thanks a lot, Dave. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support. Next, we have on the agenda a discussion with the Harsens Island Fire Citizens Advisory Board. Pat, who is kind of heading this up, sent me a text. He wasn't going to be able to answer it tonight. I don't know if there's anybody else or not, but what you want?
I'll take a shot.
Okay, take a shot. You want the mic or?
I'll try. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Our committee has been very busy. In particular, Pat Feen and Dave Carruthers have been gathering a lot of data, a lot of information. And the reason for gathering it is not just to have a pile of paper. It's to try to understand what was behind some of the discussion at the last board meeting here, what ALS means, what BLS means, what ALS transport means. So we're gathering that data. We're almost done with that collection. And we thank the Township and Fire Chief Rose and also Klein Hospital for answering a lot of the questions that the fellows have been putting out. So we're almost done with that. That's going to lead to, hopefully, some ideas about what can be covered on the island, and that'll get down to the people on the island deciding what they want to do. So on the committee is Pat Feehan, Dave Carruthers, Harold Stieber, I'll try to get my name right, George Cavell, Bernardo Licata, and Mike Joy. So Mike is a former firefighter, as you know, chief of St. Clair. So he's bringing the professional information to us. We've had 2 committee meetings where the whole committee was together, and we have another one coming up here shortly. And we feel that we're making some progress. It's a very, very complicated thing for us to understand, because it's like jumping into somebody else's profession and then all of a sudden in 3 weeks you know it all. Well, it doesn't happen. So we're trying to unravel some of the information, and then we're going to try to present it in a simplified manner, and that's in quotations, because nothing about it is simple. The definitions are not easy to understand. Most of the issues are regulated by the state, so you can't just do whatever you want. The manning requirements are all regulated, and that all leads to cost. So we're working through the data portion and the definition portion and the presentation portion, and then hopefully get into some ideas about what can actually be delivered with your cooperation and everybody else. What can be reasonably delivered on the island for whatever it may cost. So that's where we're at. We've only met 2 times formally, and Pat and Dave have been doing 1 million.
Oh, yeah.
paper.
I know, I sent them.
So that's what we're up to.
Yeah, I'd like to just add on that. We sent them all kinds of information and or told them where they can go to get the information, and they've been doing a great job. They've been busy. And basically we asked them, you know, if they could assess the needs of what the island wants, and we'll try to make that come to be true. So, want to have anything?
I do appreciate all your hard work, though.
Yeah.
All of you guys that are working on the committee, it's very much appreciated. So thank you.
I think it's appreciated by the residents as well.
Yep.
Yes.
We are one.
Yep. I know I was at the last homeowners association, and Pat did a good job of what was going on there, and I think everybody was, you know, was kind of surprised of how in depth everybody's going. So,
We look forward to hearing the results that they come up with, because that's what we're waiting for.
okay, that's it on our new business. Board member comments. Cindy.
I don't have a whole lot. I want to thank everybody for coming. It's always a pleasure to come over here. Gosh, when's our next meeting over here?
January, I think. Mark?
I want to thank, maybe,
You're on.
I want to thank the chief for bringing in 5 qualified firefighters. And I want to thank them as well for coming in and taking these positions. It's a great effort. Just a footnote on the USDA. The USDA also offers low-income household mortgages in the form of a rural development. Clay Township, Algonac happens to be in that area. So if anybody that needs a mortgage, it's similar to an FHA or a VA loan. Just a side note on that. And thank you for the update on the Harsens Island Citizens Advisory Board comments. Thank you.
Joanne?
It's very gratifying to see all the progress we're making in this fire department situations, and I give a lot of compliments to all the people involved, and particularly, again, like Mark said, the Harsens Island Citizens Advisory. So we're moving forward, and that's what we want to keep doing. So glad for that. Thank you.
Sandy?
I just want to commend Chief Rose for your constant follow-up with not only us, but anyone that asks questions of you. You've been on top of everything. And you can tell your dedication is in moving forward for the department. And from the credentials I reviewed from your new hires, I'm very hopeful that we'll have a solid start to improving not only the staffing issues we have, but morale in that department as well. So thank you very much.
Chris?
Our job is to make the township better. And that's the job of these 7 people. And we strive to do that on a daily basis. It's challenging. We're working with budgets, and public safety is one of our top priorities. There's been a tremendous effort put forth in our public service, our police, and our fire, especially not only to the mainland, but also to the island services. We're getting better. We want to be able to provide more. We want to be able to provide more at a reasonable cost. So I feel like this is a very positive and constructive meeting. The last meeting, maybe not so much. We had targets on our backs, but I feel good about this. I'm not going to let this select few islanders and more importantly, non-islanders speak for the whole group. I don't get that feeling that was an adequate representation of the good people of Harsens. So, we appreciate you coming, we appreciate your support. Hang in there, we are making progress. Chrissy?
So I wanted to report to the board that as of 5 o'clock last Friday, September 14th, taxes were due and we collected approximately 90% of summer property taxes. So I think that's pretty good. We collected another 1% of the outstanding today. And then I'm also excited, I sat through a webinar for a company that offers online payments. It's different than the company that we're using. We have never heard of this company before. And this company I'm going to present at the next meeting, their services and everything that they offer. But they offer web payments, mobile payments, text payments, which will also recognize what device you're using, so your screen will be interactive with their site. They offer a service which we could opt into called Pay Near Me. For those people who go out of town, oh no, I forgot to pay my water bill. You can pay your water bill at a 7-Eleven, a CVS, a Family Dollar. Now there are fees associated with that, but it's $1.99. It's better than 10% if you miss paying your water bill. They have when you go online and make a payment through your bank, your bank is actually right now sending us a paper check. So I know before I started here, I thought when I went online and paid my payment electronically through my bank, that somehow it came electronically to the township. That is not the case. We receive stacks of envelopes every day with paper checks in them. So this company offers a service where they intercept those paper checks, turn them into electronic files, which saves the township time, and it also gets your payment to us quicker. They have automatic payments through credit and debit and e-checks, paperless billing for your utility bill, so you can get an email. It will say your new bill is generated, then you can set up a reminder for a week before your bill is due. You can set up another reminder for a day before your bill is due. You can set up auto pay, set up the date that you want it to come out, what you want it to come out of. You can set up a recurring auto pay. Lots of features. We received a check today that said, for tax payment, that said, why do I still have to write a check? This is dumb. It was actually written across the front. So I'm hoping that this will be beneficial to our residents and that we'll be able to get it going soon. I'm really excited. So.
And wasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the rate cheaper than what the company we're using now?
Yes.
The
rate to pay your water bill and your tax bill online through a credit, debit, or e-check is actually less with this new company than it would be that you're paying now. So a little bit of savings.
Good job.
They won't let you use auto pay on your water bill, will they?
We will soon, hopefully.
Oh, okay.
And you can set up reoccurring.
I got a bill in Florida last year, the day before it was due. Yeah. And they threatened the hell out of you on the bill, you know.
That's Florida's fault.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was really the post office, or the city didn't send it over there soon enough because it was postmarked. It came out of there way late.
Okay, well, let me finish my comment.
Okay, so.
Then we can get out of here. I just wanted to,
You had a whole report.
what?
You had a whole report.
I know. Thank the chief. We got 5, and we're going to probably have 4 next meeting. And I hear we're still getting more applicants too.
Yes, we are.
That's great. I want to remind everyone school's open, for watch out for those red flashing lights. And Mark, you're right about the USDA as far as cheap mortgage rates too, and for low income area, which we qualify. And if someone needs info on that, get a hold of me. I can get you the right people with the USDA and how to make that go forward. Just on a personal note, I'm having surgery tomorrow, getting a new knee, and so I'll probably be out till Monday. So, I'll be dancing in a week from now.
You hope.
I hope. I will be. Yeah, quiet week. Tell me if anything gets done this next week, okay?
Motion to adjourn?
Yep, motion, support, all in favor, aye. Everyone have a good night.